All right, we're officially live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Estate Planning Expert Series, where I interview financial advisors who are making estate planning a bigger part of their practice. Today, I am joined over here by Matt Koppelman, a financial advisor with Precision Wealth Planners within Prudential, who works primarily with people approaching retirement, many of them who are women executives, super cool, and professionals navigating complex financial decisions. Our topic today is making estate planning a standard, not an upsell, which Matt, you have done extremely well. We're going to dive into Matt's process today. He's going to share some tips. So if you're a financial advisor or you're someone who's implementing estate planning within your practice, this episode is definitely for you. And Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Diana. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Matt, tell everyone where you're tuning in from today.
My partner and I run a practice outside of DC. So we've got offices in Annapolis, Maryland, and then my office is in Bethesda, Maryland. So like 15 minutes north of the city.
Love it. My fiance has some family in Annapolis. He's always trying to get me to go over there. They do like a big 4th of July thing. Yes, I need to make my way over there. Thanks for sharing. Again, thanks for coming on. I want to roll right into these questions. When I did some research on you, Matt, you've done a case study with us at Trust and Will. You have so much knowledge on this topic, experience, and you've built a pretty cool process. So I want to start by, some of what I learned is you've really said that estate planning has always been a priority in your practice, even before you partnered with Trust and Will. So I would like for you to share, why have you made it such a central part of your process, right along things like Social Security?
Yeah, so I think it's important to meet clients and prospective clients where they are. And if these are the topics that are most important to them, these are the topics that planners should be focusing on, right? So my partner, Craig Schubert, and I, we do educational seminars for companies up and down the East Coast.
Love that.
And the investment ones are always well attended. The most attended seminars are always estate planning and Social Security. And that's really all the evidence that I needed, right? If those are the most attended seminars, this is what we need to be talking about. So we've really baked that into the beginning of our process, is education, and then also learning more about what's important to these clients and what they're trying to get accomplished within their estate plan.
100%. Actually, I used to work with the team over at Acquire Up, formerly White Glove, and we saw that exact thing in our data. Estate planning seminars always attracted, the highest net worth, the most quality prospects, and the biggest crowds. So you're absolutely spot on, and I love how you leaned into that. And you listened, right? You let the data lead your decisions here. So let's touch on the fact that, like, after that seminar, right, what would kind of happen if you were to get someone who raised their hand to say, hey, I want to talk with you more about my estate plan? Did you meet on Zoom? Did you meet in person? What was that process like for you?
So the first meeting, we always call them Ask Anything sessions, and we normally keep it pretty brief. So there's no agenda. People always ask before that. They're like, oh, what do I need to bring? And we tell them you don't need to bring anything except for yourself. So we can talk about whatever's top of mind for those people. Now, if we're coming out of an estate planning seminar, estate planning is probably top of mind. So we'll do that first 30-minute session just to kind of feel each other out and get to know each other a little bit better. And then after that, we'll schedule an hour-long, we call it Estate Planning 101. We're not making any recommendations in there. We're just teaching them. We'll share our screen, we'll do some whiteboarding, and we'll teach them the difference between a trust and a will and the different tools that they can use, the must-haves in estate planning, and then take it from there.
That's wonderful. Let's go a little bit deeper. You look at estate planning not as an upsell, but truly as that trust building investment in your own client experience. So I'm curious, what does this philosophy look like in practice, like with your clients? How has that shaped retention of clients and even growth of new clients?
I think it's the easiest way to get to know what's important to your clients. When you're taking them through this process, you get to know immediate family members, distant family members. You get to know everything. If they're inclined to give to charities, you get to learn about that. So you can almost position it as a more efficient way to onboard people, because if you're just sending them a blank PDF and asking them a bunch of questions, you'll get the data, but you don't get a lot of the, what we call like the fun stuff, right? So you don't get to know them as well as you do when you're taking them through the estate planning process.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've heard advisors tell me this a lot too. Like when it comes to estate planning, no one's leaving anything off the table, right? They really want to put it all on the table for you to protect. And so it's such a good way to just even discover more assets. So let's talk a little bit more about this like client process, because yeah, you mentioned like you can send folks a questionnaire, but what are other ways to sort of keep them engaged in this topic of estate planning? I know you've used tools, like flow charts or even just other documents, proactive follow-ups. Can you walk us through how these tools help clients actually follow through and get the plan done?
I'm big on to-do lists. It doesn't sound very fancy, but I think everybody loves checking those things off of their to-do list. And people, whether advisors are comfortable doing it or not, clients want someone to hold them accountable. So sometimes, like I used to get in my own head about like getting uncomfortable about nudging people over and over to get things done, but everyone always comes back and thanks me for doing that. So I think that's an important part of the process.
100%. Now, this next question I usually ask every advisor on my show, because I know there's a lot of advisors actually tuning into this show and trying to figure out like, okay, how do I make this happen? I think for a lot of financial advisors, it's still either totally outside of their practice, a little disconnected. Maybe they have attorney relationships they refer to, and that's kind of the end of it. And then, for some of them, it's like, I really want to do this. I just don't know how. So you have called estate planning an essential part of every financial plan. We've got financial planners listening. What advice would you give to them to help them fully embrace estate planning and really implement estate planning? Do you have any tips?
Don't view this as a tool like trust and will. Don't view it as a potential replacement to all of those estate attorney relationships. This is in addition to that. So what I was looking for is something that could remove all of the friction that was someone coming to me and saying, hey, this is my top priority. And then we have that one-on-one session where we teach them all about it. I make the handoff to the attorney, and then people are busy. So especially like dual income households, maybe my age, 40s, early 50s, they don't have time to go sit down with an attorney for a couple hours on like a random Wednesday during the work week. So I loved that I was able to take this tool and remove all of that friction, and they can jump on and do it on their own on the weekend, 30 minutes, hour and a half, whatever it takes. And the other thing I would add too is I've had a lot of advisors come to me and say like, hey, this isn't going to be a great fit for my ultra high net worth clients. And I wouldn't let good enough I wouldn't let perfect get in the way of like good enough for now. So like using this almost as a placeholder, which I've used for a couple of my higher net worth clients that didn't have anything in place. Okay, well, let's go and get something, and then we'll set up the meeting to go sit down with an attorney face to face.
That's awesome. I really love that saying. I hear it all the time. I think it's like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. And I think that is so, so true. And not just in this, right? In all aspects of our lives.
Right.
I think we could all take that motto and have it a little closer to the heart. So I think that's a great place to end. You've been super helpful. You've given us so many tips today. I really admire the way that you've gotten just creative with this, and also again, how you are not going to let, perfectionism get in the way of helping more people. That's really what this is about at the end of the day, helping your clients, helping people get their estate plan done in a world where so many of us are not getting it done. So thank you, Matt, for joining us today. You've been such a great guest. And
thanks for having me.
Of course. If you're tuning in now, feel free to follow Matt. He's on LinkedIn. I'm sure you'll see some of his other posts about his practice, and you might be inspired by what you've learned today. So feel free to follow him on LinkedIn. And then if you're in our audience today, and you want to learn more about Trust and Will, there's a QR code at the bottom of the screen here, right here. You can scan it, or you can just go and head over to trustandwill.com/advisors. You can learn more about what we're about. You can take a demo trial of the tool if you want, of building an estate plan. We're here to help you. Matt, thank you again for joining me today. Everyone have a great rest
Thanks,
of your
Diana.
day.
Good
Bye.
to see you.
You
Bye.
too.